obviously coming back, watching the film, give them credit. They executed a game plan. They held the ball for 40 minutes of the 60. They had the fake punt, the onside kick, went for it on fourth down pretty much every time. And then they came out in the third quarter in a new defense, which got them a couple of 3-and-outs. But we got to respond better to those things. You get to the point where you're going to start seeing some of that stuff. And it kept them in the game, and our guys kept fighting. I thought our defense played a great second half, and held them, I think, to 10 points in the second half. I think they had over 6 3-and-outs, which is great. We needed it because we were going 3-and-out on offense. So we have a lot to fix. We hung in there. People could call it an ugly win. I don't know. There's no such thing as an ugly win, but we've had some ugly losses to Northern over the years. So it was nice to have an ugly win. Our guys hung in there tight in a close game. And really the big thing for us, and we knew it was going to happen, is there was going to be a point where they weren't going to turn the ball over. Going into this game, I don't know if you guys had the stat sheet, but their offense had given up 30 points, 10 points a game. Their offense had given up. Other than that, they would have been in a lot of really close games. They were in some really close games, but they had 2 pick sixes, 2 fumbles, scooped and scored, and a safety. So if their offense, just stops turning the ball over, we knew they'd be in some games. Obviously, we didn't get any turnovers, made it a really close game. I was really proud of the fight of our team, finished the game, made the adjustments we needed to make late, made some big plays, and got the victory. So now we're on to Eastern, a team that, I don't think has been – they're tough, they're physical. They've been in every game. They haven't been blown out in like 2 or 3 years. Coach Creighton does an unbelievable job over there. They play physically. They're big. They're 2 D tackles. I mean, it's not too often you look at a depth chart and you see 350, 330, and 318 on the D-line. So they're big up front. They run around. They tackle well. So, they've been in every game. They had Central beat with 3 or 4 minutes left, and then Central came back very late and won the game. And so they got a dynamic quarterback who throws the ball, can run the ball. We saw that last year, and he's doing it again this year. So it'll be a huge challenge for us, but we're excited to have the opportunity to play him again.
Coach, you guys are second in the MAC in total defense. After last week's game. So if you can just speak to the way your defense has been able to hold up, and obviously there's a lot of talk about your offense with all the playmakers you have over there, but just the way they've been able to hold up and kind of keep afloat while you deal with all these injuries on that side of the ball too.
Yeah, we're trying to heal, the best we can. The D-line is where everything starts and ends, and they've been fighting. The guys we do have, when Marshawn Nealon went down on that fake or the little blue onside kick, unbelievable job by Kalen Crawford to fair catch that, great response in a tough situation, but to have him laying on the ground, another defensive end that was playing really well, was just, you kind of get used to it. The defense is just getting used to turning the next page and figuring out who can play. And Andre Carter did come back. He wasn't healthy at all, but I was so proud of the way he played, fought, did a good job in there. Hopefully he continues to get healthy. Hopefully we get Ali back this week. That'll be huge for us. But they just keep fighting, and it's been fun to watch them continue. They got to get better. We got to get off the field better. We know what our issues are. With the players that you have as you're rotating through, you're trying to protect certain players, and be smart about it, make every team earn everything. And it's also hard when other teams are trying to keep the ball away from the offense. They've been out there a lot. I mean, we ran 3 plays in the first quarter. I don't think I've ever been a part of something like that. I script like 18 plays and we were in the second quarter. We're on play 4, and so that means you're out there a long time. They're eating the clock. And so just the fight of that group, I think they got stronger as the game went on. I told my guys today, on a normal year, we'd just be getting done with non-conference. This would be conference game number 1, and and just like last year, they just got better and better. I think you're seeing it across the country. I think the tackling's getting better everywhere as they do it more often. But the combination of COVID and injuries has made putting a team together difficult. Obviously Jalen Hall didn't play last game, and then we had that bustle out, and we've had two different offensively. We've had a couple people out, but not like the defense. They're in a whole other world of leaning on each other, counting on guys to play probably more snaps than we're used to playing, and the guys have responded. I mean, they got pressure on the quarterback late. That was the second time this year that we needed a stop at the end of the game to win. And they did, and that's something we focused on in the offseason. So I'm just proud of their development. It's weird because I don't know where you're at, Seth, if you feel like it's the end of the season or just the beginning. I don't know yet either. Like, it kind of feels like you look at the injuries and the guys out, I'm like, man, this is like game 9. And it's really, we're not even halfway there on a normal year. So it's a really unique year, and I'm proud of their development. And in order to continue being in games and finding ways to win games, they have to continue to get better. And man, they were really strong in the second half. Is the best half they've played. And we just need them to continue to grow.
Tim, I got a question. I'm sorry if you already addressed this. I was a little bit late to the party this time. I know you and your team still have something to play for. The Broncos still have your goals in front of you. How does that fact kind of, you're hoping, keep you sharp against a team that doesn't have a win this season?
Yeah, I think, there's just so much history there. It's like every time you play Central or every time you play Eastern, you're playing a team that there's going to be a lot of friends that are on both sidelines, and knowing obviously it's a game last year that we got upset in, we didn't play well, and it has huge implications for us. And really, especially after a game like last game where I don't think we didn't play great. We played good enough. But we're really focusing on us. We have to get better to accomplish our goals. We have to be better. This is one of the teams that took our chances of going to the MAC championship away last year, and we know that. And they hang in every game. It was this off season. During COVID, I had a lot of time to talk to a lot of our coaches in our league, and two of them made the point. Coach Candle and Coach New that they both talked about Eastern and how good of a job Coach Creighton has done, and how it's the one team that never get blown out. They're masters at staying in every single game, and they beat Purdue and they beat Illinois that way, and they do such a great job of slowing the game down and playing a team game, and Northern does the same thing. They find ways to be in the game late, and so we have to be ready for a 60-minute game. They scored with, I don't know, under a minute left to beat us last year. And so there's tons of things to point out as far as us getting better, how great of a team they are. Forget about their record. They're in every single one of those games. And with their mentality and their culture, they're not rolling over. I can promise you that. And we have time to continue to get better, and we need to do that. So for us, there's a lot of things to point at as far as, looking at me and us and our coaches and our staff and our players, and how we can get better and play a more efficient 60-minute game, because we haven't done it yet. I don't think we've had some great quarters, some great halves, but we need to put together a 60-minute game to be in the game against a team like this. So there's plenty of things that we can point to that we need to grow on, and that's what we're really focusing on.
Coach, with the exception of Akron, the last 3 games, we've gotten off to a slow start. We've been behind the 8 ball, right from the jump. What can you do? For instance, have you considered at all taking the ball if you win the coin? I know you like to defer to the second half, but getting the offense on the field and trying to strike first so that you're not playing from behind.
Not really. I have not thought of that. They've taken the ball, but the last 2 games, the other teams won the toss and taken the ball. So we really haven't had much choice, but our plan on both of those was to defer. And this game we scored on against Central, we went 3 and out and then scored on 5 drives in a row. So we got to come out and we got to play better early, and we, once the momentum, obviously the first 3 minutes of the Central game didn't go very well, but then we calmed down and started to play. And but we've discussed, just bring it up with your team. That's the biggest thing is we got to just talk through. It's really hard at the beginning of a game when you have scripted plays. They're really well done. Both teams, both sides. Your first offensive drive, for the most part, your first 10 plays, your first 15 plays normally have a lot of success. The thing for us that's been such a difference maker in my 3-4 years here has been we've been a really good third quarter team. And if we're in a close game, I want that ball. I want to have time of possession in the third quarter, and not in the first. And so that's why we normally defer. I think it's a smarter way to play when it comes to winning the game. It might not be as pretty as everybody wants it to be, but we'll have more touches in the second half, which is when the game is decided. And we'll also have a whole first half to see what they're doing, why they're doing it, come in, make our adjustments. So when we have more ball control in the second half is when we know more about what they're going to do to us, although it's nice to get off to a great start and take the lead and do that. I just want when the time expires at the end of the second half is when the points matter the most. And so we've continued to do that. And I think we're going to continue to get better at starting fast, we got down even in Akron, we went down, kicked a field goal. They went down and scored.
That's right.
Then we were down in that game too we're only six minutes in, but there's going to be a lot of close games. And when you go on a run or if you want to accomplish your goals, I tell my guys all the time, you're going to win a lot of close games. I know everybody wants a team that just blows everybody out. But that's not that common in college football. So we got to get our guys tough enough to handle adversity. And I think we've shown thus far that we're pretty good at it. We keep playing.
We got to get some style points, though, if we're going to make the college football playoffs.
Yeah, there we go. Style points.
Just kidding.
I know. I love it.
Tim, Eastern Michigan's defense giving up over 500 yards a game, but they are leading the conference in red zone defense. Opponents have only scored 60% of the time in the red zone. That's an incredible statistic, that they would be so poor giving up yardage, but then when it gets down to the goal line, they bow up.
Yeah, they've always been a solid defensive team. Everyone struggles to score points on them. You don't see, Toledo scoring 45 is about as much as I've ever heard scored on them. To get into the 30s is normally a pretty good game against that team. They do a good job up front. Like I said, they're huge, and so they make it hard. With their base defense, when you get into the red zone, things get tight, and so everything gets squished down on top of you, and it really plays into their defensive structure's hands. When you get into the red zone, when you're out of the red zone, there's a lot of pressure on their safeties to help in the run and over the top. So, there's many teams like it. Teams that play, more quarters defense. It's almost better to score from the 40 than on the 10. And so and teams have the big plays they've been beaten over the top a couple times. But as far as the run defense has been pretty stout. You got to earn it. It's one of those 4 yards, 4 yards, 4 yards. And then when you get one, you pop one. It's not a team. What was it, the Akron game where we're averaging 8 yards a run? You have to earn it, and you have to just keep pounding the rock. And Toledo popped a couple, and Central finally popped a couple, and just put it. They're going to make you drive the ball on them, and when you have your shots, you're going to have to make big plays, over the top in some of their coverages. So they do a great job of making you earn it. They make you drive, and that's where it really got Central. Central was driving the ball the whole game, and couldn't score in the red zone. And that's something that we had our first stop in the red zone. We missed a field goal. This is the first time all year we got stopped in the red zone this year. And so it's one of our strengths, and we're looking at that because that's an unbelievable stat, Robin. And especially it's not like it's over a game or two. It's over 4 games, So they're stout in there. So we're gonna have to be physical down there. We're gonna have to make some big plays. We're gonna have to throw it underneath when they're playing off of us. and make sure we can execute 10. But we've been scoring fast, and so we got to be able to put together a 10-play drive and find a way to push it in when we get down there. But that's proven to be very difficult with the teams this group has played.
And they've got this quarterback. I mean, he kind of had his coming out party against you last year because Glass was out hurt. And so you've had a taste of this guy. The other teams hadn't.
Yeah, he can do a lot of things. The combination of run and pass is unique. The fact that he's accurate with the football and that when he doesn't like what he sees, he takes off running. I think I don't know if it's every single touchdown they've scored, but he's pretty much either ran it in or threw it. I don't know if they've had a running back that scored a touchdown. I have to
he scored all their rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, he scored. He's the guy. He's a one-man show, and he does a great job. And he's an accurate passer. And so, they've got him. He's gotten in some games where he's been down and he's been forced to pass the ball, and that's always hard. But when they have early in a game when they can run it and throw it, they're very difficult to stop. Obviously, it plays in the defensive hands when you get down and there's 4 minutes left and you got to throw it, and that's been hard. That's harder for everybody. But he is a really good player. He's got some good receivers. They do a great job on offense of making you cover the whole field. And they have an extra runner, obviously. Anytime the quarterback can run, it adds a gap, and they use him in the run game. And so they've done a great job of really stretching a defense, making you play thin, one in a gap. I mean, you got to tackle well. And then as soon as you think you got it covered, there goes the quarterback taking off on a broken play where he turns it into a 25-yard gain. So our linebackers are going to do a great job of playing coverage and rallying up and tackling that guy in space because it's not easy to do. And we've talked about that with our linebackers, and they got to have a great game.
You already mentioned something about Jalen and Deshaun perhaps being back as receivers. How about the running back room? Jackson, I think, could have gone, you said, the last game, and you held him out. What's going on with Sean? Is he out? What's going on with the running game?
He jogged over the weekend and he did a good job. So he's kind of probably going to be a game time, day-to-day guy. Jackson, I think, will be back 100%. We got him in the game and got him 5 to 7 plays, knowing that if something happened to Ladarius, he was ready and warm and ready to go. But we also, I don't think he was 100%. He was probably 90%. He wanted to go. Immediately after the game, all walking off the field, Jackson was like, "Coach, I'll be 100% next week." So I feel good that Jackson is going to be ready to go, and we'll see about Sean. I was pleasantly surprised yesterday in our meeting with our trainers that really no one is ruled out yet for this game. I mean, a lot of guys have to come back.
Does that include Marshawn?
That includes Marshawn.
He didn't look good out there on the field.
We've done MRIs and we got all the data back. I mean, he's got to turn a corner and his strength's got to come back. And, there's still a list of players that are doubtful, but none of them have been ruled out yet. So I left that meeting feeling pretty good that we could have Ali back and that Andre should be able to go again and maybe even Marshawn, which would be fantastic. And maybe Sean and maybe Bustle. No one's officially out yet, other than obviously there's the guys that have been out all year from major injuries, but just the banged up injuries, everybody's on the road to recovery, but it'll be an important next couple days, see who can get on the practice field on Tuesday, who can get on the practice field on Wednesday, how they look, how they feel, and hopefully start getting some guys back here.
Back to a two-part question. First of all, would you address quickly we know that Petty and Cap's battle, it's kind of a day-to-day thing in practice, ongoing, but there were some issues and you did make a change in the game. Mm-hmm. And then also talk about Eastern Michigan special teams in general and what problems or strengths they have in their special teams.
I haven't watched a ton of that yet. I meet this afternoon with Coach Pelsick. They're having their meeting right now on the special teams. We did offense and defense yesterday, so he has all morning this morning to get in the special teams, and they're actually meeting in 10 minutes. And then I'll sit down with him this afternoon. So I have not watched their special teams yet. But as far as those guys, I mean, Gavin came in and did a great job, and he's been right there at the heels of Tiago all season. Even though Tiago was a starter, Gavin was getting still the same amount of reps in practice. And just knowing that if Tiago lost confidence and was overthinking things, he's got all the talent in the world. He just got to stay calm and play. And that we knew we'd have Gavin right there, and Gavin came in, did a good job, and they'll continue to battle this week. And so that'll be a fun battle again to watch. And the other guy's Mahalik, he can kick too. I don't think he can hold and kick at the same time. We'll have to bring a different holder in. But, he does a little bit of everything. So that's going to be a fun competition to watch, just to see how Tiago comes back and how Gavin takes the role now as the guy that finished the game and kicked the game winner. If he can continue to build on that, he'll have a great chance. And if he struggles and Tiago goes better, then we'll let Tiago go. So it's fun to have multiple opportunities and to put different talented players in at that position. And then I can't say enough about Nick. I mean, he's kicking off great. He's punting great. He runs down and makes tackles. I mean, we have a different safety valve. The reason he has tackles is we don't hang him back to be the last tackler. He wants to go, and he's good at it. So we let him kick it and go make a tackle. Because our numbers aren't that bad. People are always like, oh, your kicker has a lot of tackles. Well, we let him go. He's part of the line. He's not part of we have a different person on different plays hang back and be the safety valve, and so he's really been him and Bryce have really stepped up their game this year, and it's helped us in some of these close games.
How about your special teams coach? D was player of the week on special teams. Those kickoffs are fun to call.
Yeah, people are trying everything. Coach Palcic did a great job of trying to hide D and not let them figure out where he was going. We thought we had a decent beat on what kicks they were going to kick. So they kind of waited to see them line up, and we hid D right behind Kilberg and tried to run D just to get him one or two shots at it. You know what I mean? And we got him 2 shots at it when it was all said and done, and one paid off. We knew we were close. Give credit to everyone on that team. I mean, D didn't even get touched. I mean, he made one guy miss, and that guy hardly even touched him. So that just shows that there's a lot of guys doing a lot of good things on that unit. And, then we start getting sky kicks the rest of the day. So we do have, from having Darius Phillips, we have experience with all the different blue kicks and all the different things that they're going to try to do. I think they tried to hit they did like just clip our frontline guy, one of those squibs where they're trying to knock it off one of the first guys in the front row. Those guys have to get out of the way quick. And then D did a good job of covering the ball down the field. So yeah, we're, that's a unit for us that can make a difference in a game like they did last Saturday. And we got to continue to find different ways to get D the ball. And that's obviously one way. If we can do a good job of getting our game plan together, that he can get a couple chances a game. It's just another touch for him, and every time he touches it, good things tend to happen.
Coach Caleb Ellaby had probably his worst game of the year this Saturday, missed a few passes, and especially as we get into December now when the weather could be getting worse. What are your thoughts on sort of the run versus pass play call balance moving forward?
It all depends on the defense, really, Colin. I mean, this team, we knew we had to throw it. They were going to load the box from the get-go. Their base was if we had 6 in the box, they were going to have 7. If we had 7, they were going to have 8. So we knew they were going to give D. They're going to play way off of them and just make us throw and catch. And he missed a couple throws here and there. We had 1 or 2 drops too. We weren't as efficient and effective as we've been. We got to get back to being efficient and effective. I made a couple big throws late, made a couple big plays with his feet. But yeah, he didn't play his best game. It's really hard to stay in rhythm when you only have 49 plays in 20 minutes, 20 minutes time of possession. So I kept telling him, like, hey, go play some catch on the sideline. Try to keep yourself warm, because this is one of the hardest things, having lived it myself. It's one of the hardest things is when the team's getting first downs. Every first down, they drain 2 minutes off the clock. So they get 4 first downs, half of the first half's over, or first quarter, sorry. And So, I was proud of the way he battled back, and made some big plays down the stretch. And, but yeah, he didn't play as great as he's been playing. He was still fairly efficient, didn't turn the ball over, made a couple big plays in the run game. He pulled some and used his feet a little bit, which is something he can do. And so it's good. This is one of those things that you live with as a quarterback. You're not going to be on fire every single time. And for him to play against this style of defense, which was very similar to BYU, where he really struggled with the different coverages. He was way better this time, way more understanding of what they were doing and knew where to go. He sailed one or two balls. There was a little windy, but not too bad. But yeah, depending on what they're giving us, we could run it 50 times, we could throw it 50 times. So we knew going into this game, we were going to at least be 50-50 run pass, maybe even a little bit more pass. And he did it with their limited opportunities. He did a good job of bouncing back after missing a couple throws.
Coach, I was just wondering if Jalen Hall's injury did that come earlier in the week in practice?
I don't know what I'm allowed to say, Robin.
Not available.
He was not available. He's back.
Okay. I was just wondering, you mentioned COVID a couple times, so I was just wondering if you guys have been able to, have you had to do anything virtually at all, or have you pretty much been able to stay in person, do everything?
We've been pretty much in person. We still choose to do some meetings virtually. We don't have to, but we do, just to be safe. Our COVID team and our trainers and our doctors are unbelievable. I mean, we have some of the guys that have missed games has been related to that, but as of right now, we have 0, on our team. I could not say the same thing last week, but I could definitely say it this week. And they've done a great job of getting tested. If we have a positive, we PCR test them. We send it out. The person is isolated immediately and away from everybody. And we never take the field until we get everyone's test back. So we are never even in this building until we get the morning test back, so that really helps with the contact tracing, which I know it's been really difficult for a lot of teams across the country. And it's just because of syndicus, it's just, we're very fortunate that it's there, it's present, it's changing everything we're doing. But it's not able to demolish multiple groups of players when we have a positive, so we've been very fortunate, and I keep reminding our guys of that, how lucky we are. And so we've been all negative all week again. So it's been a good week, but yeah, so it's definitely changing this year. It's the COVID year. Everyone calls it the COVID year. But our guys are battling it, and we're lucky to have the plan in place that our administration put in place. And it really gives us a chance to not lose. We might lose a guy here and again, but we're not losing groups of guys, and so and injuries are doing that a little bit, but not so much COVID, which we're very lucky.
And then as far as the offense is concerned, it seemed like Northern Illinois was trying to kind of squeeze the middle of the field and take away some of the RPOs and gave some cushion on the outside. So if that's a thing that, defenses do going forward, how do you guys make sure you make adjustments to that to where you're still able to move the ball and when they take away some of the stuff that was successful for you earlier in the year?
Yeah, the biggest thing is the more they pack the middle of the field, the more you work outside, which is really in some regards easier. I mean, normally when you have a young quarterback, you would love to throw it outside because they don't have to throw it over anybody. It's a clean line of sight. I could tell you about Caleb 2 years ago. I was trying to find ways to throw it outside because he was not comfortable throwing over the middle. That was, when you're a senior, that's all you want to do. When you're a freshman, you just want to throw it away on the sidelines from everybody. So, we changed up a lot of our routes this week, and we're able to work the sideline more. And that helped us, if they want to pack the middle, that makes them, they're going to be soft somewhere, and the biggest thing for us is to figure out which RPOs are working, change them up as they show us what they're doing on defense, and you just have to be efficient when you only have the ball for 20 minutes. You have to be efficient when you're out there, and we weren't. I didn't think our run game was good enough, to be honest with you. I didn't think we still had to find ways to run the ball. We had a couple big runs, but I didn't think we were consistently good enough running the ball. And then, like I said, we had a drop, and then we had two passes that were sailed kind of high, and other than that, when you only have 49 plays, I've never had less than 50 plays in a game. 49 is crazy. We got to be more efficient, and so we got to figure out what they're doing quickly, adjust to it, and keep being aggressive, because this, I know the offensive guys they're happy we won. I think they're frustrated with the way we executed, and they can't wait to get back to work tomorrow. I mean, D after the game couldn't wait to get on a ball machine because he dropped the ball and he fumbled the ball, and he was so angry at himself. I was like, hey, you scored a touchdown and had 134 yards, man. I'm like, enjoy this for a minute. We'll get back to work on Tuesday. And but that's the first thing that popped in his mind, is they just want to right some of the wrongs that they had, and we're excited to get back to work.
Coach, at 4-0 now, and in the driver's seat, do you think that the players, they're 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds, that they're feeling any pressure or stress as a result of being in first place and being the only undefeated FBS team in the state, and this, that, and the other?
I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, we're so dialed into trying to get better. I mean, even when we win games, I mean, as coaches, we want them to continue to try to understand how good they can be, and so I think we're really dialed into responding to what happened last Saturday. Don't react to it. Don't overreact. Just respond. And so I know they're hungry. I could feel it. I could feel it after we won a couple games and our defense was frustrated. They're happy that we won, but they're frustrated with they're not playing to their ability as good as they want to play. And offensively the same after this weekend. So that's a good sign for me. I want them to have that bar high and keep it there. And if you don't, even if you win, which we have, I still want your expectations to be way high as far as how good we can be. And so I think we have a hungry team that way. And I also think that in the past, this, like I said, this team beat us last year. Bottom line, say whatever you want. Like, we didn't get the job done against them. Offensively, we played good, but not great. Defensively, we struggled, so we remember that. And this is another opportunity for us to go out there and get better. And, but watching their reactions to when they don't play, they don't get the job done the way they want to get it done. Because they've had some, we've had some games offensively where things have been clicking, and that's really hard to do. And they want that every single time they're out there. And I want them to keep pushing that, we're going to keep pushing that envelope, and we're going to coach them hard, and they want to be coached hard, and they want to get better every single time they're out there. They only get a couple more opportunities to be out there, and so we realize, keep telling them, we only got 2 more games that we're for sure get to play, and we got 12 days left. And we got to get better. And so we're gonna get back to work on Tuesday. And there's a lot of talk in the locker room about Tuesday after the game, about getting back to work on Tuesday and getting better. And so I think we have the right mindset and a veteran team that they're focused on trying to continue to improve and play a 60-minute game. And that's hard to do against a good football team, but we need to put together a 60-minute game.